Hey there, Kalyn here, and welcome to another card video in the Too Many Cards video series that Emily Leapart and I have created. Today we're using the Happy Jig tool from We Are Memory Keepers. This is a new tool that's really neat. You can use it for scrapbooking, card making, or just any fun project. So basically what it is you can create your own wire embellishments. So they have lots of different colors of wire available. As you can see, it comes with 3 different spools of wire, and then you can purchase others separately if you want. So it comes with the main tool. It comes with a really nice quality pair of wire cutters, and then you get the 3 colors of wire and then an instruction booklet, which is definitely key. This is going to tell you everything you need to know to how to use it, and it has all of the little formulas or recipes, if you will, of how to create different shapes. And you can really do any shape you want. You can create your own, but this gives you some really nice guidelines as to how to create a bunch of shapes to get you started. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the Happy Shape recipe, and it calls for 2 of the large pegs, 7 medium, and 14 small. So I'm just taking all of those out and getting ready to place the pegs where they need to go. So as you can see on the left side there are letters, and on the top there are numbers. So you really just follow along with the guide and find the coordinates of each peg. So I started with the large ones, then moved to medium, and then to small. And this really makes it easy. You can't go wrong because the numbers and letters are all laid out for you there. And in addition to the small, medium, and large pegs, there are certain pegs with a slot in them, and those are the starter pegs. So that's where you can start your wire and just have it have a nice grounded place to go. So here I am just placing all of the pegs down. This part takes a little bit of time, but like I said, it's pretty foolproof, and the pegs just snap in really easily to the pegboard. So now the fun part begins. We're going to start creating the actual embellishment by using the wire. So you can see I placed the wire in that first starter peg so it's grounded there, and then you're really just molding it around each peg. Now a big tip is to hold down the pegs, especially the small ones, when you're wrapping the wire around them. The small ones just are a little bit more flimsy, so they tend to want to snap out if you put a lot of force on them. The bigger ones I had no problem, but the smaller ones, it's just an extra little insurance to just hold it down with your finger while you're wrapping it. And I also did kind of a silly thing. I could have cut my wire beforehand. I didn't. I just used the wire straight from the roll, which I probably wouldn't recommend. I would cut it beforehand, and each pattern for each saying or shape tells you how much wire you'll need. So you can measure it out beforehand, and then you'll have exactly the right amount. But I was just being overly cautious, I guess, and didn't know that they did that. So I used the whole roll, which I think made things a little bit harder. So this should go easier for you. But this was actually really easy, aside from just making sure those pegs need to stay nice and in place. The wire is super pliable, like really soft, so it's nice and easy to use. So you can see I had one of those little pegs fall out, but it didn't actually matter because I had already bypassed that point. But like I said, just keep those held down with your fingers, and it'll save you a lot of frustration. But yeah, I was just following along with the guideline off camera. You couldn't really see it, but I was just following along with that to know exactly how to wrap the wire, and it makes it really clear and easy. There's no questions as to how it's supposed to go. So those guidelines and patterns really do help. And then after you're done, you just kind of pop it off of the pegs, and you can kind of remold it to however looks best and just sort of formulate it, because it is so nice and pliable that you can really play with it and just make it your own until you're happy with it. So I found as I was going through and taking my pegs out, some of them weren't coming out very easily, and in the instruction booklet they actually tell you to take one of the large pegs, turn the happy jig over, and you can pop out the smaller pegs from the back. So in case you're wondering why they're not coming out, that's why. And I just wanted to show you on the Happy Jig Instagram, they have tons more shapes, patterns. You can see how to do individual letters. People are creating new patterns and shapes all the time and sharing them. So definitely check out their Instagram if you want to get some other ideas that aren't featured in the booklet. So now on to creating the card. So off camera, I created the little heart as well. I just wanted to give that one a try, and I really like it with the pink wire. So I'm just playing with some patterned paper. I chose the Gather collection from Crate Paper, which is one of my go-tos. I just love all the papers in this collection. So I wanted to do something kind of simple and like collage style. So I wanted the Kraft base to really show through, and then do some strips of patterned paper. And I had this gorgeous flower embellishment. It's just a little paper die cut piece, also from a Crate Paper collection. And so I wanted that to go as well, and I thought this pattern paper brought out that pink nicely in the middle of the flower. And then I had a little strip of this pattern paper ready to go, so I just finished cutting it, and then thought that that would add a nice little tie-in to sort of the mint green that's also in the flower. For the sentiment, since the happy part was already taken care of by the Happy Jig, I decided to stamp the word birthday, and I used this really cute Papertrey ink set called Polka Dot Parade, and it just had a really nice font for the word birthday. So I didn't need the letter A, so I covered that up with some washi tape and then just pressed it down on my black soot ink pad, removed the washi tape, and then the letter A won't stamp, so you just have the word birthday, and it masked it really easily. So now that I have that, I'm just cutting that strip down even further, and I'm going to make this a little bit of a flag just by cutting the ends off at a diagonal, so that way it'll stick off from the side and just be a little flag that also serves as the second part of the sentiment. Now I'm just gluing down that flower embellishment with my Tombow Mono multi-glue and marking down where I want both of the paper strips to be cut on the side. Once those are cut, I'm gluing those down, and I thought about adding more flowers. I thought about adding that heart that I made with the Happy Jig, but I decided I just wanted the word to stand out and that it would be best on its own. To adhere down the word happy that I made with the Happy Jig, I'm just using my gold stapler, one of my favorite office supplies that I got at Target, and just putting 2 staples down on either side and then flattening that piece. You can also glue it down using some liquid glue or some glue dots. I added a couple of glue dots behind some of the thicker parts of the wire just to ensure that it stayed in place. But I think the staple idea kind of works really well, and it really worked with the collage vibe of my card, so I was happy with how that worked. Now to top off the card, with me it's usually one of 2 things, either sequins or enamel dots. So for this card I thought enamel dots would work really nicely and just add a little bit of color pop and some texture. So I pulled out these older enamel dots from my mind's eye and just pulled in some of the kind of coral, the light pink, and the mint colors. I will link below some alternatives to these since these are an older set because I completely hoard enamel dots, so I have these from years past. And that's going to finish off the card. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed learning more about the Happy Jig and seeing it in action. Be sure to check out Emily's video as well to see how she uses the Happy Jig, and be sure to subscribe to my channel to catch my latest crafty videos, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching.